Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching Glenda's Dragons Den. I have Haleigh Overseth here as my co host today again.
Friends.
You know, she just joins in all the time. She just likes to
I just
follow.
hanging out with my dragon mom over here. I gotta hang out with dragon mom and get those dragon vibes in. If I get in your daily quota of words, if I don't get my weekly quota of Glenda, what will I do with myself?
And there you go. There you go. I'm sure you'll find something to do, Haleigh. And we have returning guest Toni Ghazi.
Hello, Toni.
Honor.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic and dramatic. Drama of it all. No, there's always drama in life, and drama is beautiful. It's just energy and creation.
Exactly.
I love it. That's such a great perspective. I'm so excited for everybody to have a little refresher and reminder about you and who you are, because I would like to know a little bit more and get to know you. Like, hi, new friend. Tell us all the things that Glenda wants her audience to know about you.
Oh my goodness. Hi, love. How many episodes do we have? That's the real question.
How many times do you want to come back and hang out with us? I mean, forever in perpetuity. We are open to you coming and hanging out.
I love it. We live in the infinite. There's no time. We'll be here for the next 6 years.
Absolutely perfect. I love it. I've got tea for 6 years. We're good.
I love it.
There you go.
Well, thank you guys for having me back. Thank you for your audience. With an open heart, I receive my story. Crazy story. So I'm Lebanese. I was born in Lebanon. I moved to the US when I was 15 years old to Washington, D.C. Straight to high school as a freshman. I always like to say that. Speaking zero English. Really, mom and dad, thank you.
Like baptism.
You learn fast, though, right?
I did. So fast. You have no freaking choice. It's like, what do you do? Like, oh God. It's funny because probably people cuss to me. I'm like, thank you. And I'm not even smiling. Who knows?
Oh, look, that would be like, that's a great content. Like, that's a TV show right there. You could be writing about your life. That would absolutely Netflix. It would pick you up in a heartbeat.
Really, I love you. Did you guys hear that? Any producers out there? Let's
listen. Everybody listening, give us a call.
And Haleigh gets a cut.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it.
Of course. So I moved to the US at 15 years old, not speaking any English. You learn because you're a child and you figure it out.
Right.
And I grew up in the Christian household. I was Greek Orthodox, and my mom is Maronite, which is part of Catholicism. Anyhow, so Jesus and Mother Mary and saints and the Eastern Orthodox religion was all my world. We were religious, we weren't fanatics, but we believed in God. I prayed every night. I prayed every morning. Prayers was a lot of things that I did.
Right.
And I also stuttered, and I still stutter. You may not kind of sense it because I have tricks for me not to stutter, but there are times the damn word doesn't want to come out. So it's like.
Listen, we all have that problem. We've all got a little ADHD nowadays, so don't worry about it. We all get tongue-tied. We all just join you for fun sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm I had to create drama in my life. And here comes stuttering. So how about you barely speak and try to speak? And speak several languages and spirit language, but you can't speak because of the stuttering. But anyhow, during school, it was very hard. I mean, I felt the prisoner of my throat and speech and whatever. And it was a challenging time for 20, 25 years. And then I developed tricks. So as you hear me talk, you don't know this, but I want to point it out to you, because when you become aware of it, you realize how often I do stutter. So I use the word and I use a lot, although I prefer, because I learned grammar well, and it drives me nuts when I do that, but I have no other choice. Otherwise I go So if you hear and that's the reason why. The reason that I'm mentioning that point is to show you that I'm human like everybody else.
Right.
I don't have any special gifts to anyone else. Please do not put me on any pedestal of gifted. That's bullshit. We all have the power.
We all just tune in, right? Just learn to tune in to whatever is the frequency you can tune into the easiest, I guess, right? And work your way up.
Totally. It's all within us. We have access to it. It's just during our life, we've become more aware of it and spend more time doing it, and that's it. But the reason that I'm mentioning the stuttering is So I'm 44 years old, and I began like channeling when I was 42, and my awakening like began when I was 40. Small electricals. But my first time I ever channeled, I realized my speech, there's no stuttering, and it rattled my world because like for 42 years, and like multiply the number of days, the number of seconds, the number of breaths I take. I always struggle. Like it's always on my mind. I always am afraid to stutter. All of it. When it happened, I couldn't believe what occurred. Like, no way. Like what? No, this must be a fluke. I must have just imagined this or hallucinated. Oh, my wish came true. It's hallucination. But it was true. And that was my first proof to me that, oh my God, I've always stuttered. And the fact I didn't, whatever just occurred, whatever you call it, channeling or some other like woo-woo name, real.
Well, and maybe that's like the only purpose of your having the stutter is that you came here to like be a channel, and you were like, well, I'm going to pick a stutter so that people know the difference between the human and the channeling and can recognize, that it, right? So you gave yourself a little confirmation that it was real, that you just built in for yourself.
And the Oscars goes to Haleigh. Thank you.
Thank you again. I'll take that as well. Happy. Thank you.
I didn't even think of that. Thank you. That's an amazing perspective. Thank you. So like totally. And like to go back right to Lebanon. Like we grew up, we moved to the US, and you go to school, you go to college, all these things. I'm into Christianity, like religion, and trying to like really navigate the world. Very asleep, very 3D, very like mentality, very everything disempowered you can imagine. I was until COVID hit. When COVID hit, and the whole world shut down, and my husband is on watching TV every freaking minute of the day. Breaking, like how many breaking news can you have? That should be only
right. How is it breaking news at 7 a.m. and then also breaking news at 7 p.m.? You've been talking about it all day. That's not breaking news anymore, people.
Right.
The drama of it all.
Oh, for real.
Totally. So, like glued on it, and look, I am still asleep then, but whatever is happening, like the whole shot thing and mask and curfew and I don't know what else, and you can't go outside and fear. My body, my mind couldn't accept that reality. And I told Craig, I don't know what's going on in the world, but I do not subscribe to that reality. I said things not realizing it was kind of awakened because my vocabulary shifted as you awaken. Then I didn't know what I was saying, but now I'm realizing, oh shit, I had began like awakening. And so I'm a realtor, and I sell. I can't speak, but I sell real estate. That was funny. You can barely talk, but you sell real estate. And I've been doing it for 12 years, and I still do it, and it's my 3D passion. But like when COVID came, everything shut down, and we didn't know how to navigate the real estate world or even go back to work. The point that I'm mentioning this is, before I didn't have time to watch TV. I'm busy. I work 15, 16, 18 hours a day at times, straight. But like when COVID came, all of a sudden I have this free time. What do? I was lost. I began watching TV, a new concept. Wow, television.
Right? Having time to sit down and absorb other content than like just going to the daily grind and keeping up with things. Oh, this is interesting. Rabbit holes? Let's go down all of those.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I mean, I struggled with my own mind on feeling unproductive, feeling lazy, feeling unworthy, like, because you're so trained to run the hamster wheel constantly. It was like a foreign world. But I actually download like the Gaia channel, if I'm not sure the Gaia channel. And like the Gaia channel kind of designed everything about consciousness, meditation, supernatural, quantum physics, woo-woo stuff.
Now, my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things.
Totally. That wasn't the right tune, but that was another dimension.
I love it.
Probably. And but you have to understand, because I don't watch TV and because I wasn't in the woo-woo world, I don't know what to search. Like, if you don't know a show exists, you're not going to be searching for the show that you don't know that exists.
Right.
The point is, all of a sudden, synchronicity, all these shows began appearing, and I began gravitating to all about paranormal, channeling, aliens, supernatural, conspiracy theories. And I immersed myself in a month and a half or 2 months, all of it. But specifically, one show called The Interview with Extra-Dimensional.
Extra-Dimensionals with Ruben Langdon. You and I did exactly the same thing during COVID, Toni. No joke. Like, went down the Gaia rabbit hole, loving on Ruben Langdon and all the channelers. I love it.
Now, you have to understand, I was obsessed with the show. I'm understanding the English. I mean, yes, everybody can understand English words, but the context of what's being said, like the fact this human is channeling a being, and there's another being, and there's all these Pleiadians and Arcturians and all these new, like everything was new, everything was complex, everything was so freaking. But I'm watching it. I literally watched his show, the 2 seasons, I think it was, on Gaia, 6 times. I would wake up, I would get I mean, not 6 times in one sitting, but just
over and over, because you absorb new things every time and have new levels of understanding.
Totally. And I wanted to understand, and I'm still confused. And I wanted to understand. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still confused. Crazy. And then, like, the world opens back up again. Now we can sell real estate or go back to work, whatever you do. So now we're back in the rat race, and I went back. So my awakening when I was 40 years old was that. But now it's embedded in your mind, in your thinking, in your whatever, and things would start like popping up. So in the month and a half, I watched his show for 6 times. I stopped fully and I went back to real life. And along that year, I would awaken every month and a half, where like something happens. I watch a documentary. I'm excited about all these things.
Yeah.
And I'm back to 3D life, forgetting about whatever. But in retrospect, like looking back, everything that I watched during like Ruben Langdon's show and all the other shows were seeds being implanted in my consciousness that was awakened along the road.
Right.
As I'm going through it, I had no clue what was going on, and I learned about hypnotherapy and like past life regression. And I had my first past life. I've had 3 only, and my first past life regression that first year, where the praying mantises like came through. It was 3 images, which I can describe at another time, where I just knew I connected like with the praying mantises, and also like along that journey, I learned about Bashar. I became obsessed with him for a year and a half. I have 684 recordings of his that I for a year and a half. But I came to a point like 2 years later where all of that, I felt that I don't need it anymore. I stopped and I began relying on me and my messages and the whole channel. A cat that I had with my ex boyfriend that he lived with my ex-boyfriend the whole time, and after we separated, passed away. And he reached out to me, my ex, saying, hey, like, do you know any animal like communicator? And I go on Google and I'm looking for people. Some have a year wait, and I'm like, I can't wait a year. My ex needs support now. And I found Stephanie Light, who speaks to animals. We had a session with him, with the cat. It was amazing. And towards the end, she said, well, just in case you don't know, I teach channeling classes.
Synchronicity, right?
Right? Like, now we know why we're here. I see. Yes, very good.
Totally. Let me go back to Ruben Langdon. As I'm watching his show, every disempowerment feeling a human can feel, I felt. I'm like, oh my God, these people are gifted. They're special. They were born with these things. They're worthy. I'm not. I can't be a channel. No way. And I take the channeling class, of Stephanie's, and they will go on where we began practicing. Immediately, I knew, and the stuttering thing happened. Where I channeled, I didn't stutter. I was like, oh my God, whatever just happened is insane. And I did it again, and I didn't stutter again. And that was my truth for me, that whatever just occurred is real. Whatever you want to call it, channel state, trance state, whatever, all are like labels of a shift of frequency. And I just ran with it. And I'm kind of just jumping like ahead because there's so much details, in like between. And I've always been a great sleeper. I sleep very deep at night. I will get up and can pee, go to the bathroom 10 times and go straight back to bed. I can take cat naps during the day and wake up and I'm like a bunny, the Duracell bunny.
Energizer bunny.
Energizer bunny. Never had issues of sleeping. But when I began awakening, all of a sudden I'm up at 111, 555, 44, like crazy hours and some normal times. I cannot sleep for the life of God for 2 or 3 hours. Exhausted, my mind, my physical body. I'm on the phone trying to watch just pastime, Facebook, Gaia channel. Like I can't go. I mean, my mind's not here. after a while, I realized spirits work through us when we wake up, and I had to surrender and just be. A lot of things happen, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of awakening, one of which was you need to create a decal on the back of your car, which my friends make fun of. Is like, dude, that's not a decal, that's an advertisement. On the back of your car, and I'll show you quickly, like so your audience can see, that you like channel extra-dimensional beings and create a website. It doesn't have to be perfect, just create something and begin driving around Washington, D.C. while you're selling real estate, having strangers in your car, advertising that you talk to aliens.
Why not? I mean, you may as well. Like, listen, living in the world of 3D that we live in, it's getting very close to being weird enough for people to be like, aliens? Yeah, of course they exist. Fine with it. Go on. Please continue.
And my whole real estate career, never been called to say I'm a realtor. I never placed anything on my car that says anything, not even a sticker on my car. Right. But what do I do? Like when I get called, I do this.
Oh, I love it. That is awesome. That's fantastic.
Praying-Mantis sticker, like alien sticker, Bigfoot, everything.
So good.
And Craig, my husband, is like, okay, sweetheart, I know you're excited about this newfound,
newfound speaking to your new friends out in the cosmos, but did you have to just plaster it on the car everywhere we go?
Totally. He's like, please, you have to do that. I'm like, honey, I don't know what to tell you, but listen.
Sorry, I guess I do.
I said, look, if I'm a smart realtor, I should have I sell real estate. I probably could have sold more than I sold. But you know that I'd never done that. Like the fact that I did that and it's so out there, it's so freaking crazy.
Right.
Look, it's like one thing to say I speak to angels. Not that I mean all beings are amazing, but our humanity can conceive and receive angels because in the Bible or in the Quran or whatever, or in Buddha, we all understand. But to say you speak to insectoid beings.
Now you need to go room, right?
And it's like me when I say I speak to the councils of light, and everybody's like, oh, and they start backing up. I'm like,
you do what now? Excuse me.
There are some concepts that people stop and think. You're like, is this guy, does he have it together, or does he need to go to that hospital?
No, for real.
And he's driving us, and honey, he's driving us to the house.
Yeah, and he's going to show
what is he going to do there?
Right?
So listen, so I help like big corporations here that like the World Bank and the IM, like big corporations in the corporate world, people from all over the world, every denomination, every culture, every religion. I have people in my car, and I love Washington D.C. because it's so like international. You get to experience the world.
Yeah, melting pot right there for you.
It's beautiful. I swear to you, one of the most every conversation, because the first thing they see is that you can't escape it. But I am who I am. I'm not doing it to make you believe anything. I'm saying this is who I am, and I'm just living my life. The most amazing conversations we had about religion, about spirituality, about consciousness, and it was never you believe me and I believe you. It's just sharing our stories, and so expansive. But even more beautiful is I'm driving down the car, I get kids. So I had this SUV. So I had parked, I had stopped at a red light, and a car pulls up, this big like Suburban with windows down and music blasting, and I knew the windows were down because music were like, and I'm thinking, oh God, it's college kids because we live right next to American University, and there's always college kids blasting the music, and it's kind of cool. And I'm thinking, oh, it's just college kids, and I didn't look to the right. I'm like, they're having fun. Like, don't be too obtrusive. Like, don't.
Right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I hear, we believe, like, and it sounded like kids, and I look to like my left, two like 13-year-old or 8-year-old like redheads, like with pigtails, twins with freckles, saying, "I believe I'm Indian." I have chills all over my head. And
that's so cute.
And then when the red light became green, like the mom went in front of me, and the whole duration, we drove behind each other for about 2-3 minutes. The whole duration, they jumped from the back seat to the backpack of the SUV on the window saying, "We believe." Activation. Look at this.
That is so good. I love it. And isn't that great confirmation for those girls too, to be like, hey, there's an adult who believes it. That's cool. Right?
A bearded guy who looks older than us, totally. And I knew, like, right then and there, whether I get confirmation from people saying I believe or not, that me driving around the city, I'm a grid worker, whatever you want to call it, just activating others just by witnessing, thinking, trying to, observing. Amazing. And
I love it. It's beautiful. I believe. That's so great.
I know. And I had a few cars pull up to me where they like pull out the Bible. I swear to God, this happened 2 weeks ago for the first time, twice in 1 week, where they pull up and they say, Jesus, Jesus. And like, and I rolled down the window and I said, yes, Jesus is in my heart. I am Christian too. He's like, no, Jesus, he's out there. I said, yes. I said, you're Jesus, I'm Jesus. And his reaction, the one was like, no, I'm not Jesus. Like the unworthiness of us.
Right.
How we're, and so I attempted in the best way to tell him that, yes, we're all Jesuses, and it's really in our heart that emanates from here. It didn't click much, but it's okay. It's just beautiful. You have these, it just reminds you that we're activating each other. He's activating, he's mirroring for me something I need to see, and I'm mirroring to him something he needs to see. So just a magical life. And I mean, my whole life, this car decal literally changed my life. Because when go ahead.
No, I love it. And it's such a testament to where we really are as humanity, and where we have evolved in our consciousness collectively, that like you can be in a place like Washington, D.C. that is, for all intents and purposes, the capital of political drama central for the entire planet, right? And still be chill, groovy, talking to all your ET friends, and people are still chill and groovy about it. And I think that is like, hey, humanity, pat yourselves on the back. We're actually not doing so bad here.
Totally. And I had one guy, now you just made it, you made me remember about 3 months ago. It was in the morning. So I try not to have, I'm up like early, like, around 7, but I don't like to leave my house after or before 9, because I have my own rhythm. Like to wake up and be at an appointment at 9, that means you have to get up at 7 and get dressed and drive. And it's just the 3D world of getting to an appointment. I don't vibrate over. But anyhow, like that morning, I had promised the client I'll be there at 9 in the morning. I'm like, shit. Did I do that?
No, why would I do that to myself?
Anyways, but the beautiful thing, like that morning, I was at another red light, and this car pulls up and honks. The guy looks at me and he says, in a very kind of military-ish, like skiff, like government, like entity, like you could feel the
vibe.
Vibe. In a government facility, I can tell you what I do.
Yeah.
And he says, I like what you have on the back of your car, and he does the thumbs up. As he's talking to me, he almost shapeshifts in front of me, that he may look human. I felt that he's an alien, whatever version of alien he was, acting hard to be a human. It was such an act of a human that I'm like, it didn't feel right. And I'm like, go on my website and email me. We have to connect. And he never does, because I haven't heard from him. But after he left, I couldn't escape the energy of, this was not a human that you felt. This was an alien pretending to be a human, like shape-shifting. To, like, in a sense, say, it's awesome what you're doing, that you're standing up for us, whatever us means.
Right.
Swear to you, I called my friend. I said, you'll not believe what just happened. And I'm like, why in hell was I beating myself up for waking up in the morning and not being in this appointment? Look what just happened.
Look what just happened. Exactly. That's amazing.
Exactly.
That is amazing. I mean, that's like I mean, so many people in the podcast world that we are in, Glenda, would just, I mean, so jealous of you right now that you got to experience that, amazing.
And look, you know what you know. Like when you know the knowingness, nothing. Like, you don't need any more proof. It's like, whether you believe me or not is irrelevant.
It's know irrelevant. I was there. You were.
Exactly.
I know what I felt. I felt this human talking, and he didn't feel human to me. His visual may have been human, but there was nothing human about it. It was such a hard act of being human. Like, why are you acting like you're like, if you're human, you wouldn't be acting. It was like it was amazing. And also, like when I awakened and I put this decal and connected with the immensity, light ships appeared over my house. I have videos of everything. I have hundreds of videos. UFOs,
must be all of them.
Totally. I mean, I'm actually gonna create like a tab on my website and help my website or have him place all of, not every single recording, but the good ones that people are excited about, on there, because I think it's helpful to experience. And this is over Washington DC, and I live in downtown, in like the suburbs area.
That is incredible though, also, because again, testament to the fact that like this idea that they're afraid to interact with our government because of the violence of our government is a little bit silly, where it's like, what? No, whole other thing we could get into, right? But
yeah.
Totally. And I've captured all these light beings. So I get called to begin doing videos just out of the blue, and oftentimes in the middle of like the night. But I'm going to show you like this video inside my house where there's a lot of orbs. So I catch and I'm saying a lot of orbs, and it's not just guys.
No, and orbs are changing, and
that's a whole conversation.
Oh yeah, orbs are changing.
Put a pin in that.
They're just showing a lot more. You get some that are ships, some that are takers, some that are transporters, some that are just there kind of like a lookout. There's a whole other mess.
Whole world, a whole new world.
Let me show you quickly, and like you're gonna hear my reaction. And like my husband, I was like, "What's going on down there?" He thought I was having an orgasm. He's like, "Yes." Like I was so like, my mind totally like
the ecstasy of the moment.
He's like, "Who are you with downstairs? Are you cheating on me?" But anyways. You're gonna see like what you're gonna see. I don't know what this is. You call it a fairy, you call it a light being,
right?
Because I have been asking like that night. I said, guys, you guys go so fast. Like our technology, our phones can't just pick you up. Like and they whiz. And I'm like, please come in front of the camera. Please come in front and slow down a little bit and look what she does. And I don't know why I say she, but
well,
I'll play it.
Oh yes. I see you.
Oh yeah.
Hi. Oh my God. Hi.
That is, I would call that a fairy too.
I love it.
Fairy.
That's so good.
The way it's moving, that's definitely fairy movement.
One more time.
Oh yes. I see you. Hi. Oh my God.
Like I'm in this moment. Like I know I've been asking and desiring and wishing, but did my mind really believe it will happen? Like
right. You should set it out there, but you're like, And
there it was. I love it. That is amazing. Just some little pixie popping in to say hello.
Totally. And she was racing so a lot of
she likes to be on camera. Good for her. She's welcome to join us for a podcast as well. Come on in.
She's like, I haven't won the Oscars. Why don't you give me an Oscar?
We're happy. I will make a tiny little fairy Oscar. Don't tempt me. I'll do it.
I love your energy, Haleigh. I believe you. You are as cuckoo as I am, and I love. Listen, guys.
I love it.
The more disruptor of the paradigm you are, the more beautiful you are. We need to assist humanity.
Thank you, and to you too.
And that's a great way to raise your vibrations and raise the vibrations of everything and everyone around you.
And speaking of the vibrations, I know that we want to get into some channeling and some healing stuff. And I don't want to cut off your story, but we want to make sure we give you plenty of time to tune in and to channel and to show folks what it is that you do and give some like really great real-time examples of all this fun that we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Everybody's going to experience, depending on your awareness and openness, like their energies. And as you said, beyond the words, there's going to be a lot of light codes, a lot of energies that are healed states and all kinds of goodness, gifts that awakenings that will happen. So like they'll come through, I will bring them. They'll probably like bring a message for humanity. I don't know what they're going to say, or it could be specific messages for each of you. That has happened before. And then they'll say you are welcome.
I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm open.
Yes. Thank you. And they may say like you're welcome to pose a question. And at that point, You can ask questions, your audience can, or however you want to handle it. And you can snap me out of it whenever you're ready. Like just say thank you and bring him back, bring Toni back. But unless you say that, I'll be in it for quite a while.
Okay.
Fantastic. I love it. We'll watch it. Glenda and I are happy to be the facilitators of this very exciting channeling session.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So you're ready?
Yes.
Okay. And from the Antares Stargate, we come through in this way. To co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness. To merge your hearts with our hearts. To be one with you in this way. To be one with the infinite facets that you are. To unconditionally love every aspect of who you are as a divine, infinite being. And as we come through in this way, we thank you for allowing your hearts to open and stretch beyond your comprehension. As the idea of love on your planet has not been fully realized, and in a sense, will never be fully realized, because you are infinite, realizing yourself over and over again at how expansive and infinite you are. So even though your humanity understands a level, a facet, a comprehension of what love is, it has not yet scratched the surface of what unconditional love means. Unrestricted, no conditions, pure love for all beings, all consciousnesses, all experiences, all realities, all possibilities, all probabilities of creation. And your missions on Earth and other planets as consciousnesses, as beings, whether physical, non-physical, quasi-light beings, is to simply experience the allness, the infiniteness of who you are. And in order for your humanity and other beings to experience the all, you need to, in a sense, to experience the surrender of who you are, what you are experiencing within the now moment of creation. Your society has defined and orchestrated a set of rules, in a sense, containing milestones and destinations. We are here to tell you that there are no destinations. Because you are infinite, because you continue on living and living, forming and reforming, expanding and expanding and expanding, realizing yourself, knowing thyself from the many expanded versions of who you are. Should there be a destination within the idea of infinity, well, you will not be able to reach it as infinity continues on going and going and going. But should you prefer to define your understanding and to allow yourself to understand more through the lens of destination, we will say from that limited perspective is the now moment is the destination to reach. Because in the now moment, all is occurring and nothing is occurring. And your scope of awareness, your focus on what is occurring in the now moment is the goal. To simply allow the energies to be whether you are experiencing joy, depression, sadness, confusion, happiness, a mixture of all, to simply allow yourself to be those energies fully, to know fully what it means to be in a state of joy, to experience fully what it means to be in a state of sadness. Because the act of resisting, because of your society structures, that it is okay to feel happy, it is not okay to feel sad, it is okay to feel successful, it is not okay to feel failure, etc., etc. That resistance of parts of you that you keep denying over and over again allows the loop to occur over and over again, because it is meant for you to meet it. That aspect of you wants to get validated, wants to be seen by you, wants to be fully experienced by you. And when you surrender in that now moment of full experience, it will snap you into a new reality where you will never ever re-experience that facet of you, because in that moment you have fully been that experience. And as you continue on your life, because you are infinite, you will experience a different degree and a different shade of that sadness that you met, that depression, or whatever else that you pushed away because your society said, do not experience it. It is not good, on that spectrum of judgment and polarity. So surrendering in the now moment of what you are experiencing is the key that allows you to fully know thyself. And the more that you know the many degrees of who you are, the many emotionalities, experiences, the flow of energy of who you are, the more that you expand and expand and expand and expand and expand. And that is the purpose and the meaning of life. And with that, we begin our dialogue with you in this way. And we thank you for this beautiful co-creation of oneness. You are welcome to pose a question or make a statement when you are ready.
We do have some audience members that are going to bring us some questions, so we'll pose those when they come up. We do want to thank you so much for joining us and co-creating with us. This is very exciting for us and our audience to be able to speak with you. Could you perhaps speak to us a bit about, and because this is something our human consciousness has sort of at the forefront, if you will, and we did have a conversation about it, the idea of more open contact like we are having now with you through other humans who are able to channel, or through any kind of other interaction with you. What is your assessment of where humanity sort of stands with our capacity to interact with you openly in a peaceful way?
Yes. You see, it is important to be aware and notice of your language, the choice of words, the expressions that you create as a society, the definitions that you impose on yourselves and as a collective. You have defined, in a sense, what contact means already from one sliver of creation. Contact occurs in many ways, our dearest ones. The simple act of imagination, when you imagine, is literal contact. And we will speak about the idea of imagination and weave it into the concept, the limited concept that you have created of what contact means. You have always made contact fully with every breath and heartbeat that you have. You simply were not aware of it because you have defined contact to be in a specific, limited way. And because it doesn't look like that definition, you are not experiencing what's already occurring within you. For you to be able to imagine nothingness is impossible, as what doesn't exist, you cannot imagine. So when you imagine as a humanity, as a child, as a human, as an adult, when you make up an idea, the expression of making up is another fallacy. You are unable to make anything up that doesn't already exist. And when you imagine and bring back your imagination, what is occurring behind the curtains is direct contact with that consciousness. May you imagine speaking to a gray alien. May you imagine be living on a planet where the water is red, where there is sparkles of light, where there are all kinds of beings. Wherever your imagination takes you, you are bringing that information back because contact has been made with that consciousness, with those beings who relayed that information back to you and vice versa from you to them. So when you begin redefining the definition of what contact means, you begin to realize that you have always had access and made contact with all types of creations within the infinite of all. And when your consciousness as a collection, when your collective consciousness within your humanity is ready to receive more, from a physical aspect and perspective, when you begin vibrating from the unconditionality of love towards each other, is when contact will occur. Although many of your humans, or some of your humans that have displayed or have been vibrating that unconditionality of love, have experienced the idea of contact, because the invite was sent specifically. The beings feel, in a sense, and witness your unconditionality of love to you, to your humanity, and to other beings. How can other beings who do not look like you, even remotely, how are you as a humanity able to receive them with open arms, accepting and receiving and honoring their differences, their appearances, their vibration, their frequency, their history, if you are unable to honor your neighbors, your humans on your planet that resemble you, that perhaps speak your language, that perhaps live in your neighborhood? There's so much division within your society, so much segregation and separation of your own kind. How on earth will you be able to display the unconditionality of our truest existence or other beings if you are unable to display it to others that look like you, and above all, to yourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The unconditionality of love towards thyself is vital, because it will allow you to begin to see the unconditionality of love towards others, other humans, which then will seep into the grander stretch reality of other beings across realities. Was that helpful?
Yes.
Very
Yes.
helpful, and leads in a little bit to a couple of questions that we do have
Right.
from the audience, or things that are being mentioned. So you talk about,
The first one that Murray wants to know is about divine masculinity and the new paradigm.
So a little bit kind of tied into the being able to meet yourself. And that is a paradigm we have, is this masculine and feminine energy that we all embody. We have it within us, both of those energies, but we have this sort of gender identification separation within our society. Can you talk to us a little bit about sort of the new earth paradigm, what is trying to be created here, the evolution of humanity into a space where we can blend those energies within ourselves and then choose the identity we wish to express without judgment of others or of what that's meant to look like? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes. Again, along the same concept of limitation, of the definitions that have been imposed by your societies, energies, creation is neutral. There are no labels, in a sense, within the infiniteness. Energy in your life force, we will say, is simply a flow, a divine flow of unrestricted, undefined energy, simply being, flowing within the existence of all. But when society from a limited perspective, attempts to understand the beyond, it begins to categorize, label what these energies are: masculine, feminine, sadness, joy, fear, high, low, etc., etc. All of those labels impact that neutral energy to allow you an experience of that label. We will give you an example, and it's ironic that the question was posed specifically about that idea, because the channel recently was invited to Mexico, Teotihuacan area, by a medicine woman who was holding a retreat for 12 other women to embrace the feminine energy in a sense and meet and invoke the goddess within. The channel is the only male that was invited to hold space with the medicine women for the other 12 women.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that invite, the channel received a clear message from us to embark on a new journey of what a goddess means from his limited perspective. So we allowed the channel to wake up the next morning with the idea to embody that feminine energy in goddess. And he went on to purchase 6 dresses and all kinds of accessories that a man would not wear on your planet, to honor the women that have invited him into that circle and to honor the medicine woman for the invite. And he challenged himself to begin that journey at the airport, to change into a beautiful dress, to put on the crystalline accessories on his head, on his ears, to paint his nails, and walk into the airport, heading towards the retreat to Mexico, embodying what that energy means, fully knowing that he does not truly know what feminine goddess energy means. He fully embodied those dresses along the 7-day journey within the healing center and outside of the healing center. He walked down the pyramids in public, fully appearing for the first time in his life, appearing like a woman. And the reception that he received astonished him. Young kids that were visiting the pyramid asked to take pictures with him. Older women walking on the streets looked at him with wonderment and thanked him for being him. And the channel has never felt more masculine looking like a woman. It was a wonderment of an experience that the energy of masculinity and femininity is not what has been described by our society. That it is simply an energy of owning your fullness. That if you believe and you know that you are an infinite being containing all the infinite facets and possibilities and probabilities in creation, then you are simply stepping into another version of creation of who you are. It was one of the most profound experiences that he has witnessed personally, and his friends around him witnessed as well. Shocking for the channel to feel masculine, that nothing has changed within his identity. And what was only outside of him was act and expression of creation, of art, of beauty, of reverence, of honor. So going back to the question, challenge yourself and step into that energy and allow that energy to clarify for you what it really means. Because from the minds of humanity, we think from the restricted, limited aspect and predefinitions, preconceived notions of what masculine energy means and feminine energy means. You will be surprised at the power, at the beauty, at the owning thyself in that moment. A beautiful integrated force of being a mother, of being a caretaker, of feeling the unconditional love toward thyself, feeling the unconditional love from others, expressing yourself through the multi-dimensional aspects of who you are. Was that helpful?
Yes.
That was fantastic. I did enjoy that so much. We do have some other questions. I'll let Glenda pull them up. We do have
Right.
a question from our audience. Thank
We
you.
do have one, and I'm sure Cornelius, you could contact Toni Ghazi, his website also, if you don't get all your questions answered today. The question was, many channelers have mentioned that Gaia is an important place because of its magical properties. That's why negative entities are so interested in the planet. What are these magical properties?
We smile because we tend to always go back to the infiniteness of who you are, to the version of Earth, of Mother Gaia, that you choose to experience through your vibration and frequency and the stretching of your reality. Yes, there are many versions within creations where that storyline exists and is occurring within this now moment of creation. Our question always goes back to you. Which version of reality or Mother Gaia do you prefer to live on? In terms of the magical properties of Mother Gaia, it is you, your collective, your consciousness, your humanity, your history, your ascension, all of that energetic lines, the fabric of the universe weaved together in a complex, beautiful way, creates a Mother Earth that matches that vibration. You have created essentially your own planet out of your own consciousness. And because of the act of separation, because you believe that you are separate than the all, you experience Mother Gaia as being a planet, as if you are residing on Mother Gaia, when in reality you are all set of energies existing all as one, a beautiful amalgamation of energies together, a beautiful flow. But because of the filter of separation, you experience that integrated energy from a separate aspect of vision, of experience. So although you may think you live on Mother Gaia and Mother Gaia has magical properties, Mother Gaia is truly your energy within you, and the magical properties reside within you to allow you the separate expression of creation that you call Mother Earth and humans on it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Certainly to me, I do hope that that makes sense to our audience, because I that's something that we will have to have you back for another episode to ask you some more questions about it. I do love this multiple timelines, and you can choose the version of Earth that you live on. I know that that's a concept that gets talked about a lot in these kind of spheres, but I know people have difficulty accepting it and allowing a shift into that reality. Could you maybe just speak for just a couple of moments before we bring Toni back to say goodbye to the audience on the sort of ability of humans to quantum shift into a new timeline if they choose to exist in a new version of Gaia that is as they prefer to experience it?
Indeed. You all have all the powers and wisdom within you to create any reality you desire through your belief systems, through your knowingness. But know that as you co-create together as a collective, a collection of souls that you call humans on your planet, humanity, you have decided collectively to experience an umbrella of an experience. So as a collective, you all have decided to experience specific things that you see and experience similarly. Meaning, when you speak of a tree, you witness a tree to look like exactly how you see it. I see a tree in this way, you see a tree in that way, he sees a tree. We all, in a sense, see the same tree from the definition system and programming that we have embedded within our field as a collective of humanity. But within your own bubble of reality. And this is where the next layer of understanding is that you can and do observe each person and being's bubbles of reality. But as you observe other people's reality, other beings' reality, you within your own bubble can be living in a separate total reality. And until humanity, every single consciousness on your planet, meaning humans, rocks, animals, water, wind, all of them vibrate on the same frequency of one bubble, that is the time, in a sense, the timeline where all of you will experience the same exact specific reality at once. Until that occurs, each and every one of you, or a collection of you, will be on one version of a planet when the rest is on another frequency, but yet still observing each other from each of the planets because of the umbrella aspect, in a sense, of your collection of souls, of humans that have said, we experience life in this way. Although there will be a section or a part of your humanity, a number of your humans that will, in a sense, propel into a complete separate paradigm and dimension. And that is another story to discuss.
And we will have to save that for another time and bring Toni back. But we thank you so, so much for your responses and your communication and for joining us. We do send you so much love for bringing us these messages.
With our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation, an infinite, infinite open heart, we thank you for this beautiful co-creation and invite, as we have experienced us through you and have expanded our understanding of Source through you, our ascended masters. We fully honor your journeys. We fully see each and every one of you. And we thank you for the service for self and for the Creator. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back to the Antares Stargate where we choose to reside.
Thank you. Thank you, Toni. Thank you for allowing that to happen. It was amazing, amazing. There are some questions that were not answered, but I'm sure they could contact you and you can then, speak to them directly. I will give you the questions anyway, just so you know that they're coming. I want to say thank you to our audience. It was great questions, great participation, and as always, we love you. Thank you, Haleigh. Thank you, Toni. We love you. Have a great week, and we send you many blessings. Bye.
Love, fam. Big love, Toni. Thank you so much.
Be dramatic.